Hello, good morning everybody. My name is Michelle Wills and welcome to another video. As you can see, just about there, today it's Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, the 4th of May 2026, and the time is 9:06 AM. So this is another video, the latest in the saga about me and my legal action against William Hill Bookmakers. So I've turned off the computer because it looks better this way without the light shining through. So here can you see a letter I've discussed before. This is the letter I was given on or around the 5th of January 2026 by a member of staff in William Hill in Newton Abbot. Dated the 5th of January 2026, the reference number. And I won't go too much into the detail of this letter because I've covered that in the previous video. But it says here, in this paragraph here, down below here, we require one form of identification. Some examples of a type of identification we accept are below. Please do get in touch if you would like some help. So therefore, again, exactly as it says on the tin, one form of identification. And then it doesn't say under the heading identification documents, it has to be, it says some examples of a type of identification we accept are below. There's just an example of some of the, not all, some. That's what it says. Identifications, passport and proof of address such as bank statement or utility bill, driving license, national ID citizen's card, and proof of address such as a bank statement or utility bill. So that's pretty straightforward, pretty clear English, isn't it? So, for those of you who've watched my other videos, you know I do not have a passport. I never have had a passport, and I certainly will not spend the £102 plus in order to get a passport to cash out bets at William Hill. Likewise, a driving licence. I have never had a driving licence. I do not have a driving licence, and no way am I going to get a driving licence not to drive on the public highway, but to cash out bets at William Hill. A national ID citizen's card. A national ID citizen's card. Now, I looked at this and I was pleasantly surprised at the cost. £15, £15. So, but then, when you get to this, you need what we call a referee, someone who can vouch for you, someone who's known you for a long time. And it listed a load of about 30 or 40 different occupations. It could be your priest, it could be, your manager at work. It could be lots of different things. The only thing applicable to me on that list was my doctor. So I contacted my doctor's surgery last week and I spoke to the doctor's secretary, and I said that I needed a referee for application for a citizen's ID card, and she said she'll get back to me. That was the receptionist, the secretary. The following day, the secretary did get back to me and said to me that yes, the doctor's quite happy, he will be your referee, but it will cost £40, £40. So therefore, a citizen's ID card would cost me £15 for the actual card, £40 for a doctor's letter, that's £55, plus you're chucking on another probably £10 at least to get the photographs taken. £65, and to send by record delivery, I said all important documents by record delivery, that's another £5. So It's ridiculous, isn't it? 40 plus 15 plus 10 plus 10. Absolutely ridiculous. £75. Why should I pay £75 in order to cash out William Hill bets? It's bizarre, bonkers. And if you notice, we require one form of identification. And this is for examples: passport and proof of address, such as a bank statement or utility bill. Quite clearly, a 5-year-old could tell you that. That's 2 items. Driving licence is 1. But my brother, when I was speaking to my brother a few weeks ago, he came up with something which I didn't know because I've never had a licence because I don't drive. And he said that he doesn't have a photo on his driving licence. I said, I thought all driving licences. He said, no, if you've not moved, I mean, we did move when we were 6 months old. My brother's a twin. And now, we've just turned 62. So, for 62 years, his address hasn't changed. And so, he doesn't have a photo on his driving licence, which is obviously news to me, but I'm sure people watching this will know. And then the National ID Citizens Card, okay, so, the £40 for a doctor, £15 for a card, 55, £10 for the photos, 65. Where's it going to stop? £70 for the post included, and proof of address such as a bank statement or utility bill. So there it is, really. It's, I think, reading between the lines there, they want to look at my finances, my bank statement. That's what this is really about, isn't it? It's about me providing them with a bank statement. But over the weekend, I was out for lunch with a friend. Yes, I do have a friend, or two. And they came up with something which I didn't realise. And I'm going to show you on the laptop. So on my laptop even now, and you can see here, this is the gov.uk, the government's official website. Okay, part of Vote in UK Elections. This goes on, and then we'll go down to the section. Photo ID you need. I didn't even know, because I've never voted in my life, which is my choice, my decision. And so I didn't know this. And this is what it says here. I'll just enlarge it a bit, just to get it a bit clear. There you go. Photo ID you need. You'll need to show photo ID when voting in person in some UK elections or referendums. You need it to vote in UK parliamentary elections, including general elections and by-elections, recall of MPs petitions in England, Scotland and Wales, local elections in England, including councils, mayors, the Greater London Authority and parishes. So we'll stop it there, no need to read the rest of it. Local elections in England, number 3 there, including councils, mayors, the Greater London Authority and parishes. Now, coming up this week, I believe it's on Thursday, the 7th of May, we have local elections throughout, not everywhere, but I don't believe there's one in Dawlish where I live, because I've not received a polling card. You know the cards they send you before, weeks before you can vote. Mine normally end up in the bin. I've not received that. Neither has my brother, who lives in the same district. So Teambridge, I believe, are not having these elections at this time round. But so I need photo ID if I wanted to vote. If there was elections, I wanted to vote in these elections on Thursday. I need photo ID. Okay, so that's been established. So let's go down to the next section. So this is check if you have accepted photo ID. The photo ID you show must be the original version. You cannot use a photograph image on a phone or a photocopy of your ID. That's straightforward. So, for example, you take your passport and you have to take it to the polling station. The photo on your ID must look like you. That's obvious. You can still use your ID even if it has expired. You need one of the following types of photo ID to vote: a UK or Northern Ireland photo card driving licence, full or provisional. I don't have that. A driving licence issued by an EU country: Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein, the Isle of Man, or any other Channel Islands. A UK passport. A passport issued by an EU country: Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein, or a Commonwealth country. A pass card, I don't know what that is. National Proof of Age Standard Scheme. A blue badge. I believe that's the one that disabled people can use to park on double yellow lines. I believe that's the blue badge. I've never had one, I don't know. A biometric residence permit. Goodness knows what that is. I'll just scroll up to make it perfectly clear. There we go. A Defence Identity Card. MOD, Ministry of Defence, I presume, Form 90. An HM, Armed Forces Veterans Card. Nope. And a National Identity Card issued by an EU country. Here we go. Norway, Iceland, or Liechtenstein. A Northern Ireland Electoral Identity Card. Obviously, none of this is applicable to me. A Voter Authority Certificate. Don't know what that is. An anonymous electors document. So I don't know what that means, because if you've got to prove who you are, photo ID, don't forget this is, and you're anonymous. I don't know how that works out. So you can also use one of the following travel passes as photo ID when you vote: an older person's bus pass, a disabled person's bus pass. So I'm going to stop there because that's very interesting. A disabled person's bus pass. I have one of those. A disabled person's bus pass. And I can use that as a formal document to verify my identification when I go to vote in an election. It's common sense, isn't it, It proves, I show my bus pass to the person who you've got to show it to at the polling station. They verify, yes, the voter looks like you, yes, okay, off you go and vote. So, the question I ask is a simple one. How the hell is a photo ID concessionary disabled person's bus pass acceptable to vote in a general election or local elections when it's not acceptable for scumbags like William Hill to pay me winnings that I've legitimately won in football bets? It just stinks, doesn't it? It's just scum, isn't it? It's just, it's just, they'll try any dirty trick. They want me to supply documentation that has never, does not, and will not ever exist. Passport, driving licence, or citizen's card. Yet, I can vote in a general election with my concessionary bus pass. I've sent it to them on the 6th of January with other forms of identification. 5 different forms. Don't forget the letter. Remember, it asked for one. But this is going to be, they want to see my bank statement. That's what this is about. I know exactly what this is about. Um, so it's absolutely ridiculous. So here's something I want to show you, which I think you find very interesting. So this is my bank, my Lloyd's Bank debit card, classic card they call it, and it's basically just a basic bank account. And you can see here, I've typed in William Hill at the top there, and it's showing 22 transactions. So with this particular account, I've gone into a William Hill shop. I don't back William Hill online. This is a shop. And as you can see, I've spent in the shop, not lost, but I've spent on my debit card alone £4,292.56. Now this covers basically a football season. So we're starting Tuesday the 6th of August. The football season normally starts the first week of August. And if I lose my fat finger and go down to the bottom there, and my last transaction was Monday the 2nd of June 2025. You have a look at some of these transactions. So that covers the football season. The football season normally ends end of April, beginning of May. So that covers the football season, basically. So look at some of these transactions. Look at this top one here. So I'll just log on here. So I'll press that. So there we go. So you can see then, William Hill Deed. This is in Eastbourne. I went to Brighton on holiday. So you can see there. I spent £314.10 at William Hill Bookmakers in Eastbourne, in East Sussex. There we go. £314 there. So I'll just go back to there. I'll just scroll up, for example. Pick that one there. There's over £200 there. This is Friday the 7th of February 2025. This is in Teignmouth in Devon, and I've spent £200. I'll just give you one more example. Let's go to 2024. So there's a nice one. William Hill Bookmakers in Exeter. Saturday the 20th of September 2024 was when I made it. Obviously the 30th of September is when it cleared. You can see 20 chip and pin purchase. I spent £400. Now, of these 22 transactions, totaling over £4,000, go down to the bottom, totaling £4,292.56, not once was I challenged by a member of William Hill Star. Now, I want to just explain to you my method of gambling. So I've shown you 22 bank transactions with me going into William Hill shops. One was in Eastbourne, the rest I believe were in Teignmouth. I think there was one in Exeter as well. I picked them at random out of 22. I may go from covering a whole football season. Now that's my main go-to sport. I love backing football. In particular, I love doing correct scores. Now, for many years, I have done exactly the same bet. And that season, I done, which was 23-24 season, I would pick 10 teams. So 10 teams I pick. And I would do 10 £25 correct score singles. £250. I'd then do a mixture of doubles, trebles, four folds and five poles, which came to just over £50, around £52, something like that it came to. I couldn't do that on my machine because the minimum stake was, I believe, 5p or 10p, so I couldn't do it on my machine. So the actual bet was done on the machine, the singles, the £10 singles or £25 singles. That was done on the machine, but I couldn't do the the five folds for 1p's, £2.52 for 10. And if you take a football season, I never backed on Premier League matches. I always backed on Championship Leagues 1 and 2 and my National League. Occasionally National League South because the team I follow, Torquay, are in that league. So you're talking about in a season, which those bets covered, August until June, you're talking they play 46 league matches, add on the cup matches, FA Cup matches, League Cup matches in the Football League, FA Trophy in the non-league, etc. You're talking about your side playing on average 50 times at least plus. So that meant quite often I'll be betting this twice a week, normally on a Tuesday night to cover any Tuesday, Wednesday football, and at weekends, Saturdays. So I'm spending all that money, so 250 times 2, £500, £600 a week on football bets I'm spending, mostly in Timothy and in Abbott. Never once have I been challenged, not once. In addition to that, I back greyhounds, I back cricket. Greyhound racing is a great passion of mine. Cricket's a great passion of mine. I like cricket more than I like football. And I do, other bets as well. So, and when I go into Bookmakers, when I leave home, I always leave with no money. Nothing. So what I do then is I'll go to a cash point, either in Dawlish, where no bookies I can go in Dawlish. There's a Betfred, but I'm not allowed in there for similar reasons. And I'll go to a cash point in Dawlish, or if that's not working or as a queue, whatever, I would go to Teignmouth or Newton Abbot or Exeter or wherever, and I would then draw out £500 out of a cash point. Now, you can see that on 22 occasions I used my debit card. The reason I used my debit card was because I basically ran out of money. So, or I wanted to do something. Darts is another passion of mine. I would back on darts. So, do correct scores on dart matches. I love doing. So, most 4 or 5 times a week I'll be in a William Hill Bookmakers shop to place bets. So you can, and I would always put up to £300 into one of these property machines. Not saying I would put £300, up to £300. I could put £100 in and get the jackpot. So obviously I'm satisfied with that pace of my bets. And quite often that's why I would do. But on 22 occasions, as you've just seen, I went in with £500, I lost a considerable amount of money, and therefore I had to make up the bets using my debit card. And yet not one time was I challenged. So you can say probably 100 visits to Bookmakers shop. That's just a guess, a wild guess. 100 visits in that span, that August 2024 to was it June 2025, was it? That time. So it's 100 times I would use. So in addition to 4,000, you can say 100, you can say 50,000. So I estimate that any year, I didn't lose in a year, I staked well in excess of £50,000. I staked. That's over £1,000 a week. And in that year, not one single member of staff, not one person, questioned me. Until I got this, of course. Until I got this. So, it's complete double standards. It really is. And I believe this is done because obviously, William Hill shops are closing, and it's ironic, isn't it? They're closing. They say it's for tax purposes. The tax rate is doubled or whatever. The Chancellor doubled it, and William Hill said we're going to close over 200 shops, which we are doing. Teignmouth's going on the 24th of May, as is Newton Abbot are going on the 24th of May. So, it just, I believe, this is vindictive and totally unnecessary. But I will keep you in touch with the progress. It's now, as I say, a legal matter, a legal claim. But to say the interesting point in making this video is the fact that, in discovering that, I can use my disabled person's bus pass to vote in a general election or a local election, but I can't use it to pick up a bet at William Hill. It's pathetic, isn't it? So I'd be interested to hear any of your comments in the comment section down below. And as always, I thank you for watching this video. And I've had a few comments about the quality of my videos. Now, and I've mentioned this many times, and I stress it again. I am not a photographer. I don't even own a camera. My source of camera is the tablet I'm holding in my hand now, at this piece of paper rested on my laptop, and on my smartphone as well. That's my only source of camera. I'm not a photographer. I'm not a filmmaker, and I've no intention to purchase for probably hundreds of pounds, if not thousands of pounds, the proper equipment necessary to make quality videos. I'm not going to waste money on that. What I am doing, though, is hoping that it's the message, not the quality of the video. It is the message I'm trying to get across to people. That these bookmakers are scum, and it will happen to you, especially if you have a big win. It will happen to you. So, thank you very much for watching this video.